Hey guys, welcome back to Make Away Life Coaching. My name is Sarah and I'm the life coach here. Today is a Wednesday and I'm really excited because I'm doing a new thing where every single Wednesday I'm going to come on here for a couple minutes. I hope you'll join me. And we are going to learn about boundaries. If there's one thing in my life that has given me freedom in my relationships and actually just in my own body and life, it's boundaries. I learned boundaries as a complete and total foreigner. I had literally never heard of it. My therapist took, at least a month or two to get me to understand that that was an important thing to learn about. And then another month or two for me to get the concept. If you don't have the neural pathways in your brain, which I did not, because I was not raised with boundaries, and many of us from codependent homes we just don't have the neural pathways, okay? And so when she finally got it through to me, I was like, oh, this is really big. This is really hard, but it's really big. So now fast forward, 12 years or something. And I am the boundary queen. I really get it. And I get it in a way that I appreciate it because I live most of my life without the boundaries. And so I see the beauty and I want to share it with the world. If there's another thing I know, it's that during this pandemic, all of us have had our boundaries tested, and some of us have realized we actually want more boundaries to keep us safe emotionally, safe physically, safe mentally, keep our energy safe. There's so many things we now know we need. And so every single Wednesday I'm going to come on here and it's going to be really short and it's going to be called Boundary Work Wednesday. And we're going to have little mini assignments to get you moving forward in your boundary journey. And I hope to see you every single week because this work will change your life, which is what we're here. That's what we're doing here in Make Away Life Coaching. We're helping people change their lives. So today I want to start with a primer on boundaries. This is how my therapist taught me about boundaries. I want to apologize in advance because I'm the world's worst artist, but don't get hung up on the art. Just power through my terrible art because the information is gold. This is it. Buckle up. It's a couple minutes. Okay, here is our learning sheet. This is a dividing line between two properties. You live in this house, and I'm putting a Y for you. Then your crappy neighbor, which I'm going to be called CN. Some of us, this could be a family member or a child. Well, that's a family member. A spouse, a boss, a friend, parents. Gosh, who knows? But we're going to call them crappy neighbors. You can envision whoever it is that you want. It's fine. They live in the crappy neighbor house, and we're going to call them crappy neighbor. Cool. Crappy neighbor has a coconut tree. And I don't even know what a coconut tree looks like, but in my world it looks like that. Don't judge. Okay, so crappy neighbor has a coconut tree, and boy oh boy, that coconut tree is just, must be getting Miracle-Gro or something, because it is growing larger and larger and larger all the time. And the problem is, it's now, you notice where the boundary dividing line is? It's stretching over your neighbor's yard into your yard. That's what a boundary violation is. It's like somebody else coming into your yard, okay? So, here's the problem with that. You are an avid gardener, and it's not just that you love to garden, it's also that you grow these beautiful sunflowers, and actually, you have a kid in college, and you actually make so much money selling your beautiful, you're like a famous gardener, okay? And you sell your beautiful sunflowers for extra income every single Saturday at the farmer's market, and it's a good side hustle for you. It has now become an important part of your budget, and you need it to put your daughter through college, okay? So these sunflowers are super important. And guess what's happening? Crappy neighbor has their coconuts falling over your fence, smashing your flowers. Smash, smash, smash. Oh, it's so infuriating. So upsetting. Such a violation. Okay. What's the first thing you're going to do? If we were in a one-on-one session, you would tell me, and I would think, oh, that's interesting, because everybody's answer is different. Let's just say you're going to be like me. The first thing I would do, Enneagram 8, is I would go directly to my crappy neighbor and knock on the door. And I'd be like, hey, crappy neighbor, I don't know if you're aware of this. Oh, of course you are. If you're paying any attention. Just kidding. I'd be nice the first time. Were you aware that your coconut tree is dropping coconuts onto my yard and it's destroying? You've seen my sunflowers. You know I have like mad sunflower game. Are you aware that your coconuts are totally killing my flowers? And I'm really starting to lose income over it. And crappy neighbor goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I hadn't even noticed. Okay, I'll take care of it. And you're like, cool, that was easy. So you come back, you're back in your house. And you're like, I'm so glad crappy neighbor is just going to get better and fix his coconut tree. Isn't that great? And then like a week goes by and guess what? Coconuts are smashing your flowers every day. Nothing has changed. So now you're kind of irritated because you've lost even more money at the farmer's market and you're starting to worry about this daughter fund. She can't get pizza because you don't have the money now because you don't have the sunflower business. So you go back next door. This is what I would do, okay? So you might write a letter. There's a million things people will do. And again, if we were in a one-on-one session, I would know what you would do. But let's just say you march back over there. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, crappy neighbor. You said you were going to work on your coconut tree, but it's still dropping coconuts on my flowers. And the crappy neighbor's like, oh, that's right. You came last week. I totally forgot. I'll work on it. I said I would work on it, and I'll work on it, okay? And you're like, what? I don't even believe him, but okay. You go back to your house, and you're like, he said he was going to do it, but he said that last time. Another week passes. Smash, smash, smash. Your flowers are like just barely hanging on. You barely have any to sell. It's like super depressing and infuriating. And you're starting to feel kind of like violated and powerless. Like, what am I going to do? So, I don't know, if you're me, you're just going to march over there one more time, and now you're going to have some anger in your voice and be like, hey, I asked you to deal with your coconuts, and you haven't, and I've had enough, so tell me your plan. And crappy neighbor's like, okay, I know I said I would do it. So, how about this week I'll hire an arborist to come and just, deal with it so that there's no coconuts. And in my head, I'm like, well, I don't believe him. He's lost my trust. I don't think it's going to happen. But you go home, and it's another week, and nothing changes. And you finally realize, if you have boundaries, that you're going to have to deal with this on your own because crappy neighbor's full of crap. And crappy neighbor will continue to lie to you. And crappy neighbor is never going to fix his coconuts, which means you have to protect your home, your flowers, your yard, your spirit, your emotional life, your heart, your energy. You are going to have to take care of yourself. So you brainstorm. What could I do? There's so many ideas. You could get on a ladder and just cut off the branches that are in your yard. That's a little bit dangerous because I don't know about you, but I don't like being on tall ladders with saws. That seems hard and scary. Plus, they're going to keep growing back, so it's like an ongoing job for you to take care of his tree, which makes you mad. And so you brainstorm and you brainstorm this is how you ask yourself how to get a healthy boundary. How can I protect my yard without needing anything from my neighbor? And the answer in this situation is to build a net right here. You're going to build a net. Maybe you have a handyman do it if you're like me and you don't know how to build a net. But you hang a net between the fence and your house. And now every time a coconut falls off, it bounces right back into crappy neighbor's yard. Take that, crappy neighbor. And you never have to fix the net. It's just like a really strong net. You might have to like maintain it a little bit off and on, but mostly that net is going to keep your yard safe, which is going to protect you and your energy. And that is freedom. So the thing about healthy boundaries, which we're going to be checking in on over and over and over again, is that you can think of it like an invisible net or an invisible fence, but let's just talk about a net here. An invisible fence that protects you and requires nothing from crappy neighbor. It's an invisible net that protects you and requires nothing from your spouse. It requires nothing from your parent, nothing from your child. It's between you and yourself. Okay? So we are going to come back every single Wednesday. This is like the longest one. I'm not going to do them this long. Normally they're going to be 5 minutes. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of information and then ask you to do a little bit of boundary work homework. Boundary Work Wednesdays. I'm super excited about it. Come back next week. We're going to talk about this. Hanging up your net is setting a boundary. But then how do you hold the boundary? This is what we're going to be talking about. Because there's two things. There's setting the boundary and holding the boundary. Everybody is like a 2-year-old, okay? Where when they get a boundary, they run into a boundary, they're going to test the boundary just like your 2-year-old used to test the timeout, okay? It's nothing new. You know how to handle it. And we're going to be walking this journey together, and I'm super excited. So come back next week. This is going to change your life. Thank you so much. If you want to be reminded to come back on Wednesdays, then hit the subscribe button below so that you never miss another video, because this is life-changing information here. You take care, and I will see you on Friday. Bye-bye.